The combine just hit. We had some superstar performances, people breaking those 40 times. However, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes real quick because it's not all about the combine. Myself, Jacob, and Shane had to bring in Jeremy over there, and we actually had to discuss what the combine means, what you should be paying attention to, and what you should apply to your fantasy teams moving forward from the combine results. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, make sure you guys hit like, and of course, let us know who you think had the best combine overall. And stick around because at the end of the show, we'll actually have a link to the full episode. Be sure to check us out. When it comes to the combine, it's not all about how fast somebody can run in a straight line, right? Or how well their hips move, throughout drills and whatnot. But there is a few things that you can take from it, like, applying film to the actual numbers that come out of the combine. Hey, do they actually have this speed? Are they playing against lesser competition? Is this something where you look at the combine and you say, oh, this could be a good indicator of what this player actually is? Or are you looking at the combine more of a joke, Jeremy? Where do you sit on the combine?
I think the combine is, I think it's more of like that level playing field that kind of gives you an idea of like, okay, these are the numbers. It's all timed by the same people, and like the NFL itself hosts it. So it's kind of like a more neutral ground, like you had mentioned, where you get that idea of like, hey, these are hard numbers we can use to kind of figure out, okay, I saw this on film, but yet is it true? You know what I mean? Like you can kind of see that, like you said, you get a group 5 guy that's really, really good, or like a MAC guy that's really, really good and he looks amazing, but it's like, okay, is it just because he's playing against guys that are going to be insurance brokers or, that aren't going to be NFL guys versus the guy who's playing in the SEC? So for me, I think there's definitely stuff that I like. Like you had mentioned, I like I don't take too much stock in the 40-yard dash. I think that is kind of a little overrated. But I do like the lateral agility moves, like the 3-cone drills, the 20-yard shuttle, stuff like that. I like to see that little bit. You know what I mean? Then you can see that transition. Like, okay, yeah, this guy looks like he's fast laterally, but now you can see, okay, yeah, he actually has that speed.
The Deuce Staley drill, maybe? The Deuce Staley drill that he brought to the combine? Shane, how are you sitting over there with the combine? Do you care about the combine? Because I have a feeling you don't give a shit about the combine.
No, I care about it because I want them to hit at least the minimum requirements. Like, you know what I mean? Like if Drake London goes out there and runs a 4.9.
Well, he's not running anything because he had his foot injury. He's running at the pro day.
Okay, well, so let's say Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks goes out there and, we're thinking he's running in the 4.4s, 4.5s, and he goes out there and runs a 4.9. I'm going to be like, well, that's not great, Bob. Yeah, there's something significantly wrong there. And then like the running back thresholds, right? We don't want running backs weighing in under 200 pounds with certain height. You know what I mean? Because it is arbitrary as it seems. It's not. There's like a literal cutoff. It's like, look, if they don't hit this weight, then they're not going to be good in the NFL. They're just not. So I just look for the baseline stuff like that. But like, I think people will talk about it, and if they don't start double counting. Like if you go out there and you expect someone to be a metric fucking monster and they go out there and they're a metric monster, don't be like, oh, well, now they're really, really good. Like, dude, if you expect Jahan Dotson to be fast and he goes out there and he's fast, well, then don't move him up your board because he's already what you thought he was. So yeah, no, I'm old enough to remember Leonte Carrou running like a 4.8 at the combine a couple years ago. I think it was 2016. And him just plummeting.
Shane, that's not a real person.
Leonte Carrou was most definitely a real person. He's still out there running the 40. Him and Elijah Holyfield.
And Benny Snell, of course. Benny Snell's right there with him.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Jacob, are you a combine, searcher? Do you look for these stats? Hello. Do you look for these stats? Do you look for the combine to give you answers, towards the future? What do you see with the combine?
Yeah, I think Shane hit the nail on the head. Don't double count, number one thing. So, like, if, I saw people say, oh, after the combine, Treylon Burks might pass Drake London. And that might be true because we all have very bad approaches. But, like, realistically, whatever you think of Treylon Burks and Drake London now should include the fact that Treylon Burks is probably faster than Drake London. If it's the other way, if like London somehow ran faster than Burks, like then maybe I could see your position changing. But since everybody expects Burks to be a low 4.4s, high 4.3s guy, and London is sort of like a high 4.5s guy. Like that should probably change nobody's opinion if Burks is faster than London. I do care about weigh-ins, like Shane said, especially for the running backs. I care a lot about the weigh-ins. Like we'll probably talk about some of the guys, but yeah, got a lot of these pass catching running backs. Like how many of them have the size where I can tell myself a story about how they get to be Aaron Jones, because if you come in at like 202, that's very different than if you come in at like 194. So, we'll talk about some of those guys that I'm anxious to see. And I do care about speed at running back. Like historically, the hit rate matters a little bit less. But like guys that finish as multiple time RB1s are usually either pass catchers or fast. But they're usually not slow non-pass catchers. So especially those guys, like a Kenneth Walker, for instance, who has never caught passes in his life. I really care about his athleticism. I really, really do.
Hey, he's got soft hands, but we'll get into him in a second.
No one cares, man. He's caught like 4 passes in his life.
We will get into him, trust me, because
yeah.
I mean we're gonna go through the JT corollary here.
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna be like, "Well, AJ Dillon,
they just didn't throw
passes in
no,
college."
and I hope he does, because I have a whole chart with AJ Dillon on it. I'm ready to rock on Walker tape.
Thank you.
All right,
you know what I'm interested in seeing? Kyron Williams weighing in at 205 pounds and 5'9". That's
big,
5'8", 5'9", baby, no bigger.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show. So check out what we had to say about Kenneth Walker. Be sure to click on the link and check out the entire episode, of course. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, hit like, and once again, comment on who you think had the best combine.